Hello, and welcome back. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you are trying so hard, but getting nowhere? Like no matter how much effort you put in, success still feels far away, almost out of reach? If you've ever felt that way, then this message is for you. Because behind every success story you admire, there is a hidden chapter, a chapter full of doubt, failure, loneliness, and silent battles that no one talks about. Today, we're going to explore that chapter, not the highlight, but the struggle. Because the truth is simple. Success is not the beginning of the story. Struggle is. And if you are struggling right now, you might be closer than you think. Let's begin. Part 1. The reality. No one shows. We live in a world that celebrates success, but hides the struggle behind it. You see the results, the achievements, the moment someone makes it. But what you don't see are the years of quiet effort, the nights filled with doubt, the mornings when giving up felt easier than continuing. No one posts about the times they failed again and again, with no applause, no recognition. Think about it. When you look at someone successful, you are only seeing the final version of their journey, not the beginning, not the middle, not the pain. And because of that, you might start believing something dangerous. You might think, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe success is not for me. Maybe I'm too late, but that's not the truth. The truth is, you are just in the part of the story that most people quit. Struggle is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you are in the process. Every successful person you admire has stood exactly where you are standing now. Confused, tired, uncertain. The only difference is, they didn't stop. They kept going, even when they couldn't see the result yet. And that is what makes the struggle so powerful, because it builds something inside you that success alone never could. Strength, patience, resilience. So if today feels hard, if progress feels slow, if nothing seems to be working, take a deep breath. You are not falling behind. You are being prepared. Part 2. Failure is not the opposite of success. Let's talk about something most people try to avoid. Failure, not the small kind, but the kind that shakes your confidence. The kind that makes you question yourself. The kind that whispers, maybe this isn't for you. For many people, failure feels like the end. But in reality, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. Every time you try something new, you step into uncertainty. And uncertainty always carries risk. You might fail. You might make mistakes. You might look foolish. But that is not a weakness. That is growth in action. Think about a time when you failed, not just once, but repeatedly. It hurts, doesn't it? It can feel frustrating, even embarrassing. But look deeper. Each failure is not empty. It carries information. It teaches you what doesn't work. It shows you where you need to improve. It forces you to adjust, to rethink, to grow. The problem is, most people stop before they learn the lesson. They experience failure and immediately decide to quit. Not because they are incapable, but because they are uncomfortable. But success does not belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most persistent. The ones who are willing to fail, learn, and try again, over and over. There is a hidden truth many people don't realize. Failure is feedback, not rejection, not a final answer, just feedback. If you change how you see failure, you change how you move forward. Instead of asking, "Why did I fail?" ask, "What did this teach me?" Instead of saying, "I'm not good at this," say, "I'm not good at this yet." That one small word, "yet," can change everything because it keeps the door open. It reminds you that growth is still possible. So the next time you fail, don't step back. Step closer. Look at it. Understand it. Use it. Because every failure you survive makes you stronger than before. And one day, you will realize something powerful. All those failures were not holding you back. They were building you up. Part 3. The silent battle within. There is a part of the struggle that no one can see. It doesn't show up on the outside. It doesn't make noise. But it is often the hardest part of all. The battle inside your mind. This is where doubt lives. A quiet voice that asks, "Are you really capable of this?" A voice that grows louder. When things don't go as planned, it compares you to others. It reminds you of your past mistakes. It tells you to slow down or stop completely. And over time, if you listen to it too much, it begins to feel like the truth. But it's not. It's just fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of wasting time, and getting nothing in return. And here's the challenge. You cannot run away from this battle, because it travels with you. Wherever you go, whatever you try, it will be there. So the question is not, how do I avoid it? The real question is, how do I face it? The answer is not about being fearless. It's about moving forward, even when fear is present. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action. In spite of fear, every time you choose to continue, even when your mind is full of doubt, you win a small victory. And those small victories matter because they slowly change your identity from someone who hesitates to someone who acts, from someone who doubts to someone who tries anyway. You don't need to silence the voice completely. You just need to stop obeying it. Let it speak, but don't let it decide, because your future should not be controlled by your fear. It should be shaped by your actions. So when your mind tells you you're not ready, answer with action. When it says you might fail, answer with effort. And when it says give up, answer with one more step forward. That is how you win the silent battle. Not all at once, but one decision at a time. Part 4. The power of patience. We live in a fast world. Everything is instant. Instant messages, instant results, instant expectations. And because of that, we begin to expect success to be instant too. But real success does not work that way. It takes time. Sometimes a lot of time. And this is where many people lose their way. Not because they lack ability, but because they lack patience. They start strong. They feel motivated. They take action. But when results don't come quickly, they begin to doubt the process. They wonder if they chose the wrong path. They compare themselves to others. They feel left behind. And slowly, they stop. But here's the truth. Most people don't want to hear. Growth is often invisible at the beginning. just like a seed planted in the ground, for a long time. You see nothing. No progress, no movement, no proof that anything is happening. But beneath the surface, something is growing. Roots are forming, strength is building, a foundation is being created. And if you give up too early, you destroy that process. Patience is not about doing nothing. It is about continuing. Even when you don't see results yet. It is about trusting that your effort is not wasted. Every hour you invest, every skill you practice, every mistake you learn from, it is all adding up. Even if you can't see it today, think about this. If you improve just a little, every day, where will you be in 1 year? The problem is, most people want the result, without respecting the time it takes to get there. But time is not your enemy. It is your partner. If you stay consistent, time will multiply your effort. If you stay patient, time will reveal your progress. So don't rush your journey. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. And don't quit. Just because success hasn't arrived yet. Sometimes, the delay is not denial, it is preparation. You are not being ignored, you are being built. Part 5. The moment most people quit. There is a moment in every journey, a quiet, heavy moment, when everything feels pointless. You've been working hard. You've been trying, you've been pushing forward, but nothing seems to change. No big results, no recognition, no clear sign that you're getting closer. And that's when the thought appears. Maybe this isn't worth it. This moment is dangerous, not because you're weak, but because you're tired. Tired of waiting, tired of trying, tired of hoping, and in that state, quitting feels reasonable, even logical. You start telling yourself, I gave it my best. It just didn't work. Maybe I should move on. But here's what you need to understand. This moment is not the end. It is the test. A test that separates those who stop from those who succeed. Because right before progress becomes visible, it often feels the hardest. Right before things begin to change, it often feels like nothing is working. And most people quit right there. They stop just a few steps before the breakthrough. Not because they couldn't succeed, but because they didn't continue long enough. Imagine digging for gold. You dig and dig and dig. Days go by, nothing. Weeks go by, still nothing. You feel exhausted, frustrated, so you stop. But what if just one more attempt was all it took? What if success was closer than you thought, but you never gave yourself the chance to reach it? This is why persistence matters. Not blind persistence, but intentional persistence. You learn, you adjust, you improve, but you don't stop. Because stopping guarantees one thing. You will never know how close you were. So when you reach that moment, when everything inside you says, quit, pause, not to give up, but to remember why you started. Remember the reason. Remember the vision. Remember the person you wanted to become. Then take a breath and take one more step, not 10, not 100, just one more. Because sometimes, one more step is all that separates failure from success. Part 6. The person you become. When people think about success, they often focus on the result, the money, the recognition, the achievement. But they miss something deeper. Success is not just about what you get, it's about who you become. Because the struggle is not only shaping your outcome, it is shaping you. Every challenge you face forces you to grow. Every obstacle demands a stronger version of yourself. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to change. You become more patient because you've learned that things take time. You become more disciplined because motivation alone was never enough. You become more resilient because you've been through moments that tried to break you, but didn't. This transformation is quiet. It doesn't happen in one day. It doesn't feel dramatic, but over time, it becomes powerful. Think about who you were before you started this journey, and think about who you are now. You've learned lessons, you've faced fears, you've continued, even when it was hard. That is not nothing. That is growth. And here's something important to understand. Even if you haven't reached your goal yet, you are not the same person anymore. You are stronger, wiser, more prepared, and that matters. Because when success finally arrives, you will be ready for it. Many people want success without becoming the person who can handle it. But real success requires capacity, the ability to manage pressure, to stay consistent, to keep growing, even after you achieve something. And that capacity is built during the struggle. So don't underestimate this phase. Don't rush past it. Don't wish it away. Because one day, you might realize something surprising. The struggle you wanted to escape was the very thing that made you capable of succeeding. It gave you strength. It gave you clarity. It gave you identity. And most importantly, it gave you proof. Proof that you can keep going, even when things are difficult. And that is a power no one can take away from you. Part 7. Success is closer than you think. At some point in your journey, you may feel like success is far away, like no matter how much you do, it's still out of reach. But here's something most people don't realize. Success is often much closer than it appears. The problem is, you cannot see it yet, because success doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't send a signal saying, "You're almost there." Instead, it hides behind the final stretch of difficulty, the part where everything feels uncertain, the part where your energy is low, the part where doubt returns, stronger than before. And that is exactly why many people miss it. They assume that because it feels hard, they must still be far away. But sometimes, the difficulty you feel is not a sign that you are far. It is a sign that you are close. Think about it. Before anything meaningful happens, there is usually resistance. Before growth becomes visible, there is pressure. Before a breakthrough, there is struggle. So if things feel intense right now, if the challenge feels heavier than before, don't panic. Don't assume you are failing. You might be approaching a turning point. But here's the key. You won't reach it. If you stop, you won't experience it. If you walk away too soon. This is where belief matters. Not blind belief, but grounded belief. Belief based on your effort, your consistency, your willingness to continue. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to feel confident all the time. You just need to keep moving, step by step, day by day, because progress is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is invisible. But that doesn't mean it isn't real. So if you've made it this far, if you're still trying, if you're still showing up, then you are already ahead of many people. And more importantly, you are closer than you were yesterday. So don't stop now. Not when you've come this far. Not when the breakthrough could be just ahead. Keep going. Because success might be waiting for you. Just one more step away. So, here you are. Still listening, still present, still holding on. And that already says something about you. Because not everyone makes it this far. Not everyone chooses to face the struggle, to sit with the discomfort, to keep searching for a way forward. But you did, and maybe you're still in the middle of your journey, still uncertain, still working, still waiting for things to change. If that's where you are right now, remember this. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to move fast. You just need to keep going. One step, one decision, one small effort at a time. Because success is not built in one moment. It is built in the quiet days when no one is watching. In the small choices when no one is applauding. In the moments when quitting feels easier, but you choose to continue. And one day, all those small steps, all those unseen efforts will come together, and people will call it success. But you will know the truth. You will know the struggle behind it. You will remember the days when it was hard, when it was slow, when it felt impossible. And that is what will make it meaningful. So wherever you are right now, keep going. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. And if this message spoke to you, if it gave you even a small sense of clarity or strength, then consider subscribing to this channel, because this is a place where we don't just talk about success. We talk about the real journey behind it, the struggle, the growth, the transformation. And if you're on that journey, you're not alone. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.